Alright. Stage 2 of Neokyo Nights. Another pretty flat course. We're doing 3 laps on the Twilight Harbor route. Yeah. I don't know if we'll get up to 200 people today, like we often do on these Tuesday prime time racings. But still, we're well into the hundreds right now, so it's still pretty sizable. I think the power-ups today are Ghost, Arrow, and Drafting. I've been super concerned of late with trying to figure out my sprint strategy, and I'm probably thinking too much about it, which I tend to do that about a lot of things when I can't get it right away. So today, here's my goal. I'm going to just stick with the front group, even through the sprint. So instead of trying to gear up, get into my sprint gear, and then just go hard, which usually causes me to lose some spots before I can gain some spots. And it's been a net gain of 0, or worse, a net loss. Today, I think I'm just going to try to just keep spinning, try to keep towards the front of the front group, and just respond to what everyone else does. That strategy will not likely net you first place, unless it's like down to you and one guy, and you can just quickly get into sprint mode and get past him, especially if they've sprinted first. But kind of have to take that as it goes. I mean, a lot of people go all at once, so I'm just gonna respond and see where that gets me. If I see an opportunity to try and overtake, I'll try, but you don't have a lot of time there at the end to see those opportunities. So instead of taking the time to wind up and get myself going, I'm just gonna keep pushing up my watts to stay with the group at the end, and then try to at least match what everyone else does for the sprint finish. We'll see how that goes. At the very least, I should get better placement than I've done on my Tuesday attempts the past couple weeks. Now, since this is a pretty flat route, the pace will probably be high the whole time, and that'll be pushed on by the heavier riders, and the front group's going to be pretty big. Few tiny little rollers, little quick gradients that people might try to break away on. We'll see if we can keep up with those, stay on top of it all. It is 3 laps, but overall not much longer than, say, last week's race. All right. Well, we might just about hit 200 people. Okay. Well, friends, we're getting down to time here. Wish me luck. I'm hoping for just better results, you know? All right. See how hard out of the gate we go. Ghost is only useful if you're gonna make an attack. Especially at the end. You don't want anyone to notice you. Kind of useless here because I don't plan on attacking. So I'll ditch it before the next banner and hope for something better. Here's a little tip for you. You might have saw that banner and thought, you know, it was one of the gates where we could pick up the power-up, but it wasn't. The only ones you could pick up power-ups show up on the mini-map. Like that sprint gate you can see, that green gate off in the distance. You can see it on the mini-map. That's how you know you get a power-up. That was just the start-finish banner, which sometimes is a gate that has a power-up. Most of the time, actually. But sometimes the route starts not at a regular gate. I can already tell I'm not at my best today. Took me all I had just to get through that second lap. So, doesn't bode well for the end here. Come on, something I can use. Yes! I'm saving that for the end. 3K to go. All right. I'll take that. I got under 50th for sure. Woo! Out of 211 people. Yeah. Not bad. I think my plan worked a bit better. I would have liked to have been more towards the front before the end there, before I really started sprinting. But right now, I've been working on my endurance and getting my 20-minute power up. So top end numbers aren't the best right now. But so I'm not finishing well in general. By the end of these races, I'm fairly gassed. And I'm just pushing myself to keep going. So the sprinting at the end will come. I'm somewhat convinced now that I am shifting myself over from a fast twitch muscle guy to a slow twitch muscle guy. More so anyways. And I believe that because I'm able to do 3.4 watt per kilo 20-minute powers and hold that for the race, so long as I'm in an easier gear and spinning up higher. That says to me that all my zone 2 workouts have been paying off, that I am switching over to the slow twitch muscles that I have been developing through zone 2, and I feel more comfortable holding that power at higher cadences. That didn't used to be the case. When I first started Zwift, I would just muscle through everything and I would stay at a low cadence, somewhere in the 70s. Outdoors, 90 RPM was always comfortable. And there was a time earlier in my cycling career that I just stayed there, unless I was climbing. But even I'd be in the 80s and that would be fine. But Zwift, I'd always be a lot lower. Even in the 60s, and not standing would feel normal to me on Zwift. But that's all changed now. At the beginning of this race, I was staying at the lower 80s. I was using more of my leg muscles, my fast twitch muscles, and my slow twitch muscles at the beginning for a good long portion of that first lap. Makes me wonder how much better I would have done if I just went into that easier gear. Part of the problem is, at the beginning of the race, everyone's pounding pretty hard. And it is hard to do that in an easier gear at a faster cadence, at least for me, for now. Lap 2, I did not feel good lap 2. I mean, my heart rate wasn't super high, but my legs weren't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. I was almost ready to just call off the race. But then I was like, no, I'm probably not going to have a chance the rest of this week to do this race again. So I'm just going to keep pushing. By the time I got to the third lap, I started feeling better. And I was fully into my endurance zone. Faster cadence. Bigger gears. And I think my plan of just trying to stick in the front and not worry so much about winding up for a sprint, I think that worked. If I could have stayed at the front in that last K, if I could have gotten in front and stayed there, I would have gotten a better placement. So maybe that's the next step, is like 1K to go, push a little harder, not sprint, but push a bit harder, see if I can get myself to the front, and then just hold on to the end. Tough part is everyone's putting out a lot of power in that final K. Actually, in that final 1.5K, everyone's pounding out the watts, pushing the pace. So you have to, in order to do that, you do have to go fairly hard to get to the front. Could do a little micro sprint, like just hit 400, 500 watts for a couple seconds. See if that can break you up to the front, and settle in, and don't let yourself fall back. The hardest part is on the turns. I don't know if you noticed that, but I could be further up in the group, and on certain turns, as we go through the turn, I think it's usually, well, it depends on what side of the bunch I'm on, but as you go through the turn, I've watched myself just fall back in the group. And I haven't dropped power. I know that's the case, and usually I can compensate for that. It just seems harder in this bigger group to stay on top of that. Yeah. Anyways, the rest of this week for me is going to be a recovery week. I can just feel it in my legs. I've been pushing them really hard for the past month. More than a month, actually. I feel like a lot of cyclists do this. You're seeing improvements in your cycling, so you just want to keep going and keep pushing. But I can already tell legs need a little break. Just back off for a bit. So, rest of this week, I think I'm just going to stick to zone 2 workouts. Keep that rolling. Sunday, I'll probably do a FTP ramp test. Those are fairly short. I haven't done one in a while. Just to see where my FTP is at. And then finish that off with more zone 2. And then get back into some hard training next week, which is Thanksgiving. So that will probably throw a wrench in some things, but that's all right. Probably should do my recovery week next week. But I don't want to miss the race next week anyway. So recovery this week, next week race, and then see if I can fit in another hard session, maybe on Black Friday. See what happens. Alrighty, friends. I hope you have a wonderful day.